Ecstasy pills shaped like Barack Obama's face. Allegations of secret dinners with Usher and Jennifer Lopez. Explosive testimony from Kid Cudi about a car fire. And a terrifying warning whispered by Diddy himself. Where I'm from, people go missing. This isn't a Hollywood thriller. This is real life. And the courtroom drama surrounding Sean Diddy Combs is unraveling into one of the most shocking celebrity scandals of the decade. As Week 3 of Diddy's sex trafficking and racketeering trial unfolds, household names like Usher, Obama, Kid Cudi, and even Britney Spears are being dragged into a dark web of power, fame, abuse, and silence. This is not just a trial. This is a reckoning. Stay with us, because what you're about to hear will change how you see the music industry forever. For decades, Diddy wasn't just a man. He was an empire. From producing Biggie's greatest hits to launching the careers of megastars like Usher and Cassie, he shaped the sound of a generation. Bad Boy Records was more than a label. It was a lifestyle. But behind the glitz and Grammy Awards was a silence. A silence that cracked in November 2023 when Cassie, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, filed a lawsuit that would send shockwaves through the industry. Her allegations? Staggering. Years of control, trafficking, physical and emotional abuse. Within hours, the internet exploded. Within days, more lawsuits followed. Models, artists, employees, each with a story darker than the last. But what made this different was the weight of names tied to it. Kid Cudi, Usher, Jennifer Lopez, even the Obama family, connected through whispers, rumors, and damning legal evidence. And now, as we step into the trial's third explosive week, the testimonies aren't just damaging, they're devastating. Because they don't just accuse Diddy of abuse. They suggest a system, a machine, built on fear, loyalty, and silence. And it's only just beginning. When Kid Cudi walked into the courtroom, the air shifted. This wasn't just another celebrity sighting. This was personal. Scott Mescudi, better known as Kid Cudi, isn't just a rapper. He's a symbol of vulnerability, a voice for the broken. But on that stand, he was something else. A man finally ready to expose a dangerous truth. He spoke clearly, painfully, describing a night in 2012 when, after refusing to sign onto one of Diddy's business ventures, he received a chilling warning. Not from a lawyer, not from a PR agent, from Diddy himself. You know what happens to people who say no to me? Ask Shine, ask Biggie. Those weren't just threats. They were names soaked in blood and mystery. Biggie, murdered in 1997. Shine, imprisoned after a nightclub shooting involving Diddy. Cudi then revealed that months later, his car exploded, not overheated, not vandalized, exploded. Investigators at the time ruled it inconclusive, but now, under oath, Cudi made a bold accusation that it wasn't an accident, that it was a warning. I never had proof, he said, but I always knew who sent that message. For the first time, a major artist had pointed directly at Diddy. Not in a diss track, not in a rumor, but in federal court, on the record. Within hours, hashtags exploded. Protect Cudi, Diddy trial, justice now. The internet rallied behind Cudi, but inside that courtroom the weight of his words was just beginning to settle. The silence is over. For over a decade, Cassie Ventura was seen as Diddy's muse, a rising star under his bad boy label, his girlfriend, his protégé. But behind closed doors, she was something else, a prisoner in plain sight. In the newly unsealed testimony, Cassie described a relationship that felt more like captivity. She spoke of control, surveillance, coercion, and abuse so disturbing the courtroom fell silent. He would take my phone, tell me what to wear, who to talk to, when to smile. But it didn't stop there. Cassie claimed Diddy forced her into situations she called soul-breaking. Private parties where she was handed off to his associates, sometimes against her will. One night, she says, he watched. Beat of silence, low baseline rumbles beneath the narration. She tried to leave, multiple times, but every attempt was met with threats, or worse. He said if I spoke, he'd leak tapes, that no one would believe me, that I'd disappear. It wasn't just emotional torment. Cassie provided receipts, emails, hotel records, even names. She named producers, security guards, insiders who looked the other way. And here's where it ties back to Kid Cudi. Cassie claimed Diddy had an obsession with control, that anyone who challenged him, personally or professionally, would be neutralized. She even mentioned Cudi by name. He hated that Kid Cudi was close to me, said he'd handle it. That was the night before the car blew up. One woman's fear, one man's testimony, two stories, different paths, same warning signs. Cassie's testimony shattered the illusion. Diddy wasn't just a mogul. Behind the platinum records and Ciroc deals was a man allegedly spiraling into darkness, with power, money, and no one to say no. If this is shaking you the way it shook the courtroom, hit subscribe, because this is only part of what's coming, and you need to see it unfold in real time. Control is an illusion until it becomes your cage. For years, Sean Diddy Combs walked through life untouchable, shielded by bodyguards, praised by protégés, and protected by the powerful. But now, the silence is shattering. What I saw, if I talked back then, I wouldn't be alive today. One by one, the people closest to Diddy are stepping out of the shadows, some with guilt, some with fear, others with receipts. First came the assistant, Monique. She testified under oath that she had to book hotel rooms under fake names, that she delivered cash-stuffed envelopes to unknown men on Diddy's orders. And when she asked questions, she was fired, silenced, threatened. He told me I was disposable, that if I ever talked, I'd regret it. Then came the bodyguard, trained to protect, but also to intimidate. One admitted he was ordered to escort women to private suites. Another confessed to disposing of a hard drive. He says he didn't ask what was on it. He didn't want to know. Everything was recorded. There were cameras in every room. The most damning statement? A former driver claimed he once overheard Diddy screaming at Cassie, accusing her of betrayal, threatening to end her career, and anyone who stood by her. Why are they coming forward now? Maybe it's the growing legal heat. Maybe it's conscience. Maybe they finally believe Diddy's empire is crumbling, and with it, the fear that kept them quiet. These insiders aren't just witnesses. They're the bricks of a wall that once protected Diddy, and now they're pulling them out, one by one, making space for the truth to break through. Power built on silence never lasts forever, because eventually, the whispers become voices, and the voices, they become a reckoning. For decades, Diddy was hip-hop royalty. If you were an artist trying to break through, being insiders say it started quietly. Ciroc, the vodka brand Diddy helped make iconic, began pulling marketing content. Luxury fashion houses quietly paused campaigns. Collaborations vanished overnight. We're not touching anything tied to him right now. No press, no features, nothing. Even Revolt TV, the network Diddy helped build from the ground up, is under fire. Staff members are demanding internal investigations. Brands are backing out. No one wants their name next to his. Once his protégés, many are suddenly silent. But silence speaks volumes. Sources close to Rock Nation say Jay-Z has cut personal ties. Several DJs have stopped spinning his tracks. Even award shows have reconsidered tributes and lifetime honors. And then came the biggest blow. Streaming platforms quietly moved Diddy's tracks from high-profile playlists. One insider at Spotify confirmed it's not a ban, but it's a step toward one. This isn't cancel culture. This is consequence culture. The music industry is moving on fast because in today's world, guilt by association doesn't just ruin reputations, it ruins revenue. The next generation of hip-hop is watching, listening, and refusing to be silent. Because if one of the most powerful men in music can fall, it means anyone can. Cue suspenseful music swell as the visual fades to black. In the end, legacy isn't what you built. It's what survives when you're gone. And for Diddy, the silence around him is starting to sound a lot like a eulogy. While celebrities remain calculated and cautious, the public isn't holding back. Fans are heartbroken. Communities are furious. And on social media, the truth is trending. Some fans say they feel betrayed, like they cheered for a man hiding behind a mask. TikTokers are dissecting old interviews, resurfacing moments we all missed. And the more they find, louder the outrage grows. I grew up on Diddy. I danced to his music at prom. But now, every time I hear his voice, it feels like a lie. And then there's the flip side. Survivors coming forward with new strength. Cassie's lawsuit was the spark, but it lit a fire that's still burning. In New York, LA, and even Atlanta, protesters are gathering. Small, but fierce. They're not just calling out Diddy. They're calling out a culture that enabled him. If the industry won't clean house, we will. Spotify playlists, radio stations, even local clubs are being pressured to drop his tracks. Some DJs are refusing to play anything tied to him. Fans are organizing mass unfollow campaigns. Others are demanding artists publicly denounce him. This isn't just about Diddy anymore. It's about accountability, about an entire system finally being questioned by the people who made it powerful in the first place. Fan. My daughter loved his music, but I told her real power isn't in a beat. It's in standing up for what's right. The fans built him. Now, they're dismantling his legacy. One voice, one video, one truth at a time. Visual fades into black, with a quote in white lettering, "When the people finally speak, even giants fall." The lawsuits are public. The footage is shocking. The testimonies are raw. But the real question remains: will Sean Diddy Combs actually face prison time? Multiple federal agencies have launched coordinated investigations. Homeland Security, the FBI, even the IRS are now on the case. This is no longer just about civil court. It's about criminal liability on a massive scale. When authorities executed those search warrants in Miami and Los Angeles, they weren't just looking for loose ends. They were hunting for a pattern, one that could reveal an organized network of exploitation, coercion, and cover-ups. Legal insiders suggest that if Diddy is tied to any sort of trafficking operation, directly or indirectly, RICO charges could be on the table. And if that happens, we're no longer talking settlements. We're talking decades behind bars. The case is moving fast. Several survivors have reportedly testified behind closed doors. And according to leaked sources, at least one high-profile witness claims to have direct evidence connecting Diddy to coercive activities, both physical and financial. And then there's the Kid Cudi angle. If the explosion near his home is reclassified as a targeted act, and if any communication links it to Diddy, that alone could flip the entire investigation into something much darker. Add to that potential witness intimidation, misuse of power, and financial manipulation, and the prosecution